Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Tanya Love Show. It's so great to be back connecting with all of you. And as you all know, when I left, I had to take last week off because I was getting married. And so Ron and I are now officially married. Thank you, Amnon. So yeah, we're legit now. We had our Braveheart vows before, and now we are officially married. We gave our vows at Cannon Beach on Monday the 20th at 3:33, and it was a very small ceremony, just my beloved and I, and then my friend Megan, who actually officiated the ceremony, and then my friend Sarah took some video on my cell phone. And then our friend Chris and Maureen. Chris is a close friend and he's a photographer, and so he did a bunch of took a bunch of the photography for us, and he's still editing all that. So I look forward to sharing some of those pictures soon. But we did share one of them on Facebook. It's now my cover background for my Facebook page, and that's one of the shots he did of us on the beach, and he drew out "just married" in the sand. It was really romantic and sweet. And it was amazing because since I talk about laws of attraction so much on the show, I really live what I speak. I don't just preach it and then, not live it. So it was awesome because for the month before our vows, I was just every day in meditation, I would just thank, Mother Nature and thank the angels and the universe for just keeping that day really beautiful and sunny, and just to let it be a nice day so that we could do our vows and, um, have nature cooperating with us, and that everything would just flow beautifully. And it really did. Like, I ordered my dress and my headdress and my flowers and everything, like maybe 3 weeks before our wedding. Like, it just flowed, and everything got to us right when we needed it. Everything showed up maybe a week before we did our vows. And the day we got there, it was gorgeous weather. And the lady said they had just had some really bad weather, and that there was actually a wedding on the beach the week before, and the people were just getting poured on. And she said it was raining sideways. And some of the people came into her shop because she had like a little like wine and alcohol and stuff. And she said that people came into her shop to buy, I think she said Fireball or something, which I've never had, but apparently they were freezing, and so she was getting them alcohol. So I was like, okay, that's an interesting way to handle that. So
Yeah.
yeah, a little Fireball. But so apparently they just got poured on, and I send them love, whoever they were, because I'm sure that was not as pleasant as an experience they could have had. But it's interesting because laws of attraction, like a lot of times if we're really in alignment and we're practicing calling forth what we really want rather than what we don't want, we create that. And I don't really know these people, so I can't speak for them in a very intimate way, but I would be most likely assured that at some level they were putting out a vibration of, oh, I hope it doesn't rain. I hope it doesn't rain, which vibrationally is inviting rain. And it can happen, things can happen. And maybe there was a beautiful symbol for rain in their wedding. But I know that for me, I had no desire to go through that experience. And so I and all my friends and soul family and my beloved, I was just requesting that everyone really hold space with us and that they visualize it being gorgeous weather and nice. And it was. And the day we were there, it was absolutely beautiful. On the beach, it was a little bit windy, but we got some amazing, epic photographs because of that wind. Because my dress was very Lord of the Rings, and it had these long, like chiffon trails on the sleeves. And when I was walking down the beach, the photographer was taking pictures, and Chris is like, "Oh my God, I'm getting chills. Like, this is gonna look so awesome." And I was like, "Well, that's a good sign when your photographer says whatever's happening is giving him chills." So apparently it worked out well, but it was really cool because he said it just looked like an angelic, like my angel wings were flying on the beach. And so that was kind of cool. And without the wind, it wouldn't have been able to, we wouldn't got the shots like that. But it was gorgeous. And the next morning when we woke up, we went outside to go to breakfast, and Ron's looking outside and he goes, "Wow, what a great day not to get married." And so when I went and looked outside, it was just drizzly and rainy and gray. and cold and windy. And I was like, oh, thank you. So it was even more confirmation, like literally Mother Nature kind of opened the skies up for us for that day, and then the rain came back. So it was pretty awesome. So thank you, Mother Nature and angels and everyone who is working behind the scenes. I really appreciate that. But yeah, it was a beautiful ceremony. We gave our vows, and then we went out to a nice dinner. And my beloved had a man named Michael come to our table, and he played the guitar and was just kind of playing background ambiance, nice sound, nice music. And he ended up burning us a CD, and really, really great guy, very sweet guy. And it was a beautiful day. And then my beloved and I just kind of went with the flow the next day. And we were like little kids who went to Seaside. And then we went to Astoria, went and saw the Goonies house. And we were just going everywhere we felt led to go and playing. And it was really awesome. So I just want to send love to all of you that were holding space for us and that were sending good wishes to us. I really appreciate it. And thank you very much. But back to the show. I'm actually gonna talk a little bit about what I did the day before my wedding, which was I spent the day with Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he was here in Portland leading a retreat called I Am Light. I think it was called I Am Light, something like that. But there's a song that Amnon's gonna share on the feed, if he hasn't already, by India Ari, and it's called I Am Light. And I really encourage you guys to listen to that song if you get a chance. And there's a video with the lyrics, and the video is really beautiful. If you type in the one with the lyrics, it's got this cool, like, yoga looking person that's hand drawn, and then it kind of shows light coming out. And it's really beautiful. But this week I I led a Sacred Soul Sisters circle. And in the gathering, the women and I were really getting deep into some healing. And one of the women in particular, she had a lot of energy to clear and a lot of healing that was happening. And it was such a beautiful gathering and so sacred and just very intimate. And I felt so honored that, when women can come in, and men as well, but in this situation it was women, but they can come in and they can just feel so safe to be vulnerable and to feel whatever they need to feel and really deeply grieve and release energy that they need to release. And it was just a beautiful evening. And I just felt like every one of us that came showed up fully with love and support for each other. And it was just, I feel like every moment in life is a moment that's gifted to us. And we have this opportunity to show up with love. And when people don't, it's just a missed opportunity, is the way I see it. But it's so beautiful when we all show up and we all seize the opportunity. And that's exactly what had happened. And it was just really beautiful. And I just feel like you guys and girls watching would really get something from the song. And at Dr. Wayne Dyer's event, in essence, his message was that I am light. That was the overall message. And that you are light. We are all light. We are all consciousness. And we are in these human forms for a reason. And we're here to experience life. We're here to, really enjoy our lives and to move through experience so that our souls can learn whatever they're curious about, whatever they want to understand. And it was just a really beautiful retreat being with him. And I feel like he's, Dr. Wayne Dyer, he's pretty straightforward guy, and he's fun. He's really funny, actually. But he just shares very vulnerably his own journey as far as like times where he's, maybe been an ego and how he's learned from his so-called mistakes, which I feel like we have experiences, and some of them are painful and some of them aren't. But I don't really necessarily believe in mistakes. I think that everything teaches us something. And for some souls, the so-called mistakes can be the most powerful teachers for them. I was talking to my client today in my yoga teacher training, and she was talking about someone that she cared about who had struggled with alcoholism. And for a long time, that person was, struggling, and they just felt shameful and bad about the fact that they couldn't control it. And that she at first was like, what do I do about this? But she just decided to focus on self-love and taking care of herself so that she could at least feel powerful no matter what this person was choosing to do. And it was interesting because she learned that that pain in this person she cared about actually brought her a lot of awareness, and it helped her become a better person, a more compassionate person, a more understanding, present person. And so her journey of finding self love for herself and really honoring that alignment inspired this person to actually shift and give up alcohol. And it was really beautiful because she didn't go and tell them they had to, or, throw a tantrum or shame them and say, you're a terrible person. You should stop drinking. There was no judgment or need to control. But yet it was so powerful how this person actually did choose the alignment just from being in that space with her of her alignment. And I talk about alignment all the time on this show, and it's because it's what my soul's here to talk about. And it's going to come through in all different ways. And some of you may hear this message once and you're just going to be like, boom, I got it. And you may start to live your life in such a more beautiful way where you show up for life and you stop missing the opportunities to love. And some of you may hear my messages and be like, oh, that's a great idea. That's a great theory. Boop, I'm going to go get busy again and go back into my pain and my suffering. And then you might dabble back in, what's Tawnya saying this week? Oh, yeah, she's still talking about alignment. I'm going to go back and get busy. And maybe you'll have to hear it 50 times before it really clicks and you understand that that is the most important thing we're all here to align with, is our alignment with source. And so, like, today in yoga with this client I'm talking about, she's a very beautiful soul. I feel so honored to assist and serve souls like hers. And I have this man that I'm working with on Fridays, and these are both students that are mentoring with me for 3 months. And it's just so beautiful to sit with them and to just let spirit speak through and just to completely surrender to the process and not have any agenda, not have any kind of, we've got to do this, we've got to get this accomplished. I've got to make sure they know this so that I look like a good teacher. None of that is there. But it's so beautiful because I've really learned to trust in source and to trust that all I have to do is show up. All I have to do is open myself to be receptive to the consciousness and then allow that consciousness to move through me. And by doing so, it moves through me in so much more of a, in such greater power than it ever did when I was trying to make things happen. And that's kind of my point for today, is to really focus on the light that you each are and to realize that you are that light. Some of you may really have forgotten. You may really be still running around kind of, flailing on the earth as little humans, thinking all you are is your body. Or some of you maybe have been raised in environments where you've been very conditioned to believe that you are your mind, and that if you can get more information in there, that will make you worthy, or it will make you, good enough or better than them, smarter, more achieved, whatever it is that seduces the ego. And for some, it's if I can be hotter and sexier than that girl, or if I can be, more talented than that guy, if I can have more buff muscles than that guy. Whatever it is that we're doing, if we're coming from that place, it's really coming from fear. And I have really looked at life, and I feel like the essential nugget of life, if we want to enjoy our life, is to come from a space of love. And self-love does not mean narcissism. Self-love means I love myself deeply and I honor myself. I honor my body, my mind, my spirit. I honor my own time, my value, but I also extend this out to others. I honor the oneness that we all are. So if someone else is speaking, I'm listening deeply. If someone else is in the room, I'm offering them my presence. And that is really the most beautiful thing we can give to each other, is our presence, our gift of being right here, right now, fully with our attention. And so I just think that a lot of us, if we can understand that there's those two essential opportunities to align with every moment, and that is fear or love. And if we can start to question every moment, what am I choosing from right now? Am I choosing from fear, or am I choosing from love? So if it could be like you're going to tell somebody some information, something you feel, and are you speaking it from fear or are you speaking it from love? And that one little moment of clarity and of alignment will help you to allow consciousness to come through you in such a powerful and loving way that it shouldn't hurt another and it shouldn't cause anyone to feel less than. It should actually encourage a connection that's deeper, and it should raise the vibration of the connection between the two souls or the group. And if we're coming from a place of fear, like let's say if I'm a yoga teacher and I'm teaching my class and I'm coming from fear, which would be I need to make sure these students get this and that I look like a good teacher, because if they don't do it right, then I'm going to look bad. And so I'm going to be different in my energy on how I teach them, because my ultimate drive is coming from fear about my own ego. And so if I could shift that to source, what is the highest aligned message that you have for them? I surrender to that. And how can I be an instrument of love? How can I allow the consciousness of love to move through me and to arrive and to lead and inspire these beings that you have drawn into my space, to this sacred space? How can I show them the greatest love? And that is going to be a completely different experience and energy compared to the fearful ego energy. And this can apply to any part of your life. If some of you are, let's say you're hanging out with your closest girlfriends and you're going out and having a good time hanging out that night, and you know, you think about what you're going to wear that night. And if it's coming from love, it's like, okay, what makes me feel good? What do I feel is going to make me feel confident and comfortable and loves me and also shows love and honor to those around me? And you're going to think about this choice of how you're going to carry yourself into this experience. And if you come from a place of fear, you could be with your closest girlfriends, but you're trying to wear stuff that causes them to feel less, that causes them to feel insecure, that causes them to feel like they're less worthy than you are. And there can be a lot of interesting dynamics play out when wounded child shows up in a man or a woman. That person, that human, will behave very oddly as far as getting that attention on themselves. And so that's coming from fear. If we're coming from a space of love, we don't want to cause everyone around us to feel uncomfortable. We don't want to suck all the energy out of the room and get all the attention on ourselves, because that isn't coming from love, that's coming from fear. So if we can balance that, then when we enter a space with another, they're going to feel supported and they're going to feel honored just by being in our space. And if we're entering it from a place of fear, then they're going to feel not as honored. They're not going to feel as comfortable. And of course, we're not in charge of what everyone feels. So I don't want to give the impression that if people are acting oddly around you, that that's because of you, because it's not. There's people are going to choose how they're going to act. But what's important is not to be trying to change other people, but to just focus on what we can shift in ourselves, how we can be more awake and more aware as individuals, that we are in a space of love, that we are answering the calling from a space of love rather than coming from a place of fear. And so in essence, that's the goal, I feel, for humanity, is to come to this place where we can each show up for each other and we can really, come into every experience with greater love and greater light. And I feel that as we each remember that we are light, because we are one with the universe. We are vast beings of light and consciousness. And that consciousness is streaming into this body. And like what I like to joke about is the spacesuit, the human spacesuit. And when I'm laying in yoga and I'm present with my breath and I'm connecting and I feel the energy of aliveness, like as I speak, if you are able to close your eyes, if you're driving, don't do that. But if you're not driving and you can close your eyes and just take a deep breath and just really center and connect with your breath. that simple feeling of your breath can be very helpful in grounding your presence into this moment. And just turn all of your energy to your fingers, just to fingertips alone, feeling the presence there, feeling the aliveness. And as you tune in and feel the breath and feel the fingertips, you should feel almost like tingling or a pulsation of energy in the fingers. And that's the aliveness, the consciousness that is you, is in your hands. And it's all throughout your form. But if we were to lose this form, if this body crumbled and we just had like a pile, like Dr. Wayne Dyer had a great way of describing that the gift of anything is the space. It's the stillness and the space that brings life to anything. So he made an analogy of a pot. Like you have a clay pot, and he was like, what makes this clay pot a clay pot? And some people might be like, well, it's the clay. The clay makes it a pot. And he's like, well, no, because if I smash this clay pot into a bunch of pieces and it's laying on a pile, it's not a clay pot. It's just a bunch of clay. And so what makes it the pot is actually the space inside. And so in this body, if we were just like a pile of bones, and it's the end of a life when someone leaves their body, as we call it, like the soul leaves the body, there's just the body, there's the skin, there's the bones, all the fluids and liquids in the body, all the organs. But as they lay there, there's not a human there. There's no, like if I was laying there in a pile, there would not be Tawnya there. It would just be a pile of like body stuff that was to create Tawnya. And so my point is that the consciousness that we are, that is really who I am. And when Christ was talking about the great I am, I really understand what this soul was talking about, which was that he understood, he was in a space of self-realization, and he understood that he and him being connected to his source connection, which he talked about his heavenly Father, which was probably the best way he understood how to describe that, is the source connection, and that's consciousness. And so the great I am is this understanding that you are anything you desire to be, that I am is a powerful statement to make before anything, and to be very mindful of what we affirm after I am, because as you passionately and powerfully state I am anything, whatever you put after that, you are calling out to the universe, and you are in essence setting an intention of what you are becoming. And so it's really an amazing thing to pay attention to, of what are we becoming? What are we focusing our thoughts upon? And then how are we speaking those thoughts out loud and internal? Are we back? Amnon?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Lost you for a second. Okay. So I'm gonna pause there because I kind of lost my train of thought after that. So is anybody writing in with questions or anything? Any questions or comments? No?
No, there are no comments, no questions.
Okay.
Tawnya
Well,
said, I mean, Cindy said that we lost Tawnya, but we found you.
they found me. I'm still here. They're like, oh no, she turned to a pile of bones. No, I'm just kidding. Not
No, she
yet.
froze.
I froze. Well, I'm since we took a little pause, I will put the number out there for anybody that wants to call in. I've got some angel cards, goddess cards, divine guidance cards, any whatever. If you guys want to call in, and I can do a live reading for the first caller. It's 919-518-9773. Or you can call into Computers 2K Voice on Skype if you want to call in. So I'll give everybody a minute to call in. But basically, back to our topic of that we are light, the more that we understand that we are this consciousness, what's amazing is that we can get out of our own way and we can stop trying to make things happen by sheer will, and we can actually release all that need to like make stuff happen. Like, for example, let's imagine somebody's healing something in their body and you want to get better. You know, who doesn't want to feel good? But in the misalignedness of ourselves, we can go seeking a solution to something from a place of fear. And we're researching all the problems that could be connected with these symptoms we're feeling. And we're researching and gathering all this information because we want to be good students and make sure we're not getting cancer, let's say. And it's interesting because at this retreat with Wayne Dyer, the woman who was there with him, her name's Anita. Oh, well, I don't want to butcher her name. I'm gonna have to get that next time, and I'll share it with you guys because I don't want to ruin it. But if you look up Dr. Wayne Dyer online and look up the I Am Light conferences that he's leading, you'll see her. Her name's Anita, and she basically had cancer to the point where she was about to die. And she had tumors all over in her body. Her lymph nodes were completely, um, just filled with cancer. And what's interesting is she went through this amazing experience where she actually went into a coma and she was with Source and she could feel her dad's spirit who had left his body nearby. And she had a lot of resolution about her life mission and why certain things had happened to her. And one of the things she realized in that experience was that she had manifested this cancer. And part of it was she was so obsessed and fearful about not getting cancer that she obsessed about it and she worried about it and she researched it to the point of magnetically drawing that cancer right into her reality. And the other day I was kind of giving a demo in my yoga class. I had the students in meditation and yoga holding these magnets, and I was showing them like when they're north there's this energy. It's kind of like if you can see the magnets, they won't come together, they push off of each other. And so if you get that feeling energetically of energies not coming together, there's resistance. When there's that energy of resistance inside of ourselves, like if we're in fear of something, if we are in lack, like, oh, there's not enough money, I'm worrying about abundance. So all the abundance could be around me, but I can't let it in because I'm in resistance with it. I think there's not enough. If I'm worrying about sickness, then I'm in resistance with wholeness. I'm actually keeping wholeness just outside of my reach, and sickness starts to manifest. So if I shift that to I am focused upon wholeness, I am light, I am love, and I release all resistance in my form, I release all resistance in my thinking, then that magnet starts to turn and it comes in and they connect. And that is when we are not thinking of the lack, but we're focusing on the wholeness, the wholeness, the wholeness. And then we have this amazing shift in our energy, in our reality, where now we are in a space of wholeness. Same with financial situation. We're in lack, we're in frustration, there's not enough. We start focusing on the wholeness, not the problem. I have plenty of money. The universe loves me, supports me. Everything I need is on its way. Boom, it turns. And as that shift happens, we start to have experiences that will actually bring confirmation of that shift inside of us. So it's not like the world is just randomly happening. It's more like the universe is completely responding to our signal. So if we are in a state of resistance, the universe responds to that. If we are in a state of receptivity, the universe responds to that. And so as we get more aware of that consciousness that we are, what's beautiful is that we stop trying to make things happen. We stop trying to force our way and out of sheer willpower, make stuff happen. I see people do this. They get into ego and they lose their freaking minds trying to make shit happen in a way they think it should. And they destroy relationships. They destroy their own bodies. They destroy their well-being and their lives, like their happiness. It is a high cost that the ego will have you pay to let it take you down a journey of sheer will. And at the other hand, there's another path that's available to all of us, and that is this path of surrender where we completely let go and we say, you know what, universe? I trust that I am worthy of these things. And I trust that I deserve goodness. And I trust that I am a being of light and that I am powerful. And I thank you for bringing everything in that is for my highest good. And suddenly, shifts happen where little things we needed show up. Maybe a friend gives us a ride. Maybe this person, opens the door for us. This person just smiles and says kind words. It's interesting the little shifts that can happen where the universe is responding to your frequency. And I've really personally observed the people I watch, whether they're clients, family, friends, strangers walking by, we're all one. And I observe the movie of life. And the humans that I see that are the least happy, the least satisfied, are the most focused in ego. They're the most narcissistic. They're the most focused about me, me, me. What am I going to get? What's in it for me? Who's giving me their attention? Who's going to give stuff to me? And they're very rarely focused upon gratitude. In fact, beautiful things could be given to them, honor can be shown, and they just trample right through, disregarding it. And it's interesting to observe, and it's a missed opportunity for them and the lives that they have the opportunity to connect with. And then at the other hand, I observe humans who live their lives very much in a state of reverence and honor and appreciation. And they're giving gratitude for the smallest things. Thank you for opening that door. Thank you for bringing me water to the waitress. I was just thinking I wanted some water. Thank you. And just kindness and gratitude and appreciation. And those simple things, like it could be a homeless person that has struggled a lot and they're in this state and they decide rather than sit there and be pissed off that no one's giving them a dollar and like, oh, you goddamn rich people that don't care about me, and putting out that vibe. And I'm not saying every homeless person does this, but this is just an example. If they're in that vibration, they're putting out that energy of entitlement and like, why don't you care about me? And then it could shift where suddenly someone offers them a kindness and they're like, thank you so much for seeing me. Thank you so much for just taking a moment to stop and say hi to me or to give me a granola bar. Like, I am so deep in gratitude. And I promise you that that soul, it will be impossible for them to suffer. It will be impossible for them to have a depressed, terrible life. And so many of us, I watch humans that have so much in our country. Like we are given so much privilege and we live in, many of us live in nice homes and we are well fed and we're entertained and we have whatever we need, it comes in. And yet I observe so many in our society that are so miserable and depressed and so narcissistic. I mean, look at the shift in our generation of people just constantly obsessing over taking pictures of themselves. And that's not a bad thing to take a picture of yourself. But when the focus is all about yourself all the time, it's pretty hard for you to observe anything other than self. And that is just showing you where you're at. So in each of our lives, if we tune into that, maybe we're a little resistant to that. Like, oh, how dare Tawnya say that? Like, I can take my damn picture if I want to. That's fine. I'm not saying there's something wrong with taking your picture. But if the focus is constantly on self, and the focus is rarely on others, rarely on gratitude, rarely on showing deep honor, then voila, you have your recipe for suffering. You have created it yourself, and you are continuing to create it the longer you focus in that narcissistic way. Like I said, self love is not narcissism. Narcissism is completely a lack of self love, and it's a lack of love for anything because you're in a complete state of fear. So it's everything's about feeding the ego. It's like hungry little ego is starving and I need more food. And that is a really rough energy for anyone to maintain. And eventually it will start to destroy relationships because the people around it are just like exhausted. But at the other hand, self love could take a picture of self. Like I took one with Dr. Wayne Dyer, and it was a moment of gratitude for being with Wayne Dyer and that we could just get a photo of that moment. And that's a different experience than just, hey, check me out. Don't you guys think I'm hot and I'm cute? And it's this deep neediness for approval, a deep neediness for attention. And that is not ever where we're going to find our answers. And as a woman, I've been raised in the society of what hot girls look like and what they should act like and what beautiful women are. And it's all crap. Like there's so much that we're told that is complete crap. And what I love and what I feel I'm so proud of in my own life as a healer and a leader is that I have these opportunities to work with women in such an intimate way. And like the other night in the Soul Sister Circle, we all were looking in a mirror at ourselves. And I love to do this exercise. And if you guys want to try it sometime, just look in a mirror and notice what you do right away. And like as I had them look at it, they kind of looked in and then we put the mirrors down. I said, "What did you guys notice?" And they all were like, "Well, first thing I just saw my eyes and then I saw that I had a blemish and then I was like, oh, my teeth are crooked and then I was fixing my hair." And so then they put the mirror down and I just have them observe and have awareness of the fact that they typically are focused on what's wrong. They're typically in a state of something is wrong and I'm not good enough. And that's an amazing awareness to get and to realize that we have that going on inside of us at a subconscious level that we may not be very aware of. And if we start to be aware of it, we can shift it. That is what every healing moment is about, is the awareness. Awareness is a beautiful thing because it helps us to go into a higher vibrational state, helps us to move into a direction of alignment. So then I had them pick up the mirrors, look in the mirror again, and this time I said, connect deeply, look into your eyes, and don't just look at your form, but look deep into your eyes, connect with your soul to the essence of who you are, and really feel deep love and appreciation for that consciousness that is looking back at you. And I look around and the women have tears in their eyes and they're just like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I've ever looked at myself like that in my entire life. And that's so interesting to me that so many of us look in the mirror every day. We brush our teeth, we comb our hair, we're doing our makeup, or the guys are shaving their face, whatever we're doing. And how many of us actually connect with ourselves? And then the biggest need on this planet that I observe is this need for attention and approval. And everybody's out there looking for it outside of themselves. Well, not everybody. A lot of people are outside looking for it externally. And they go and spend a lot of money to find it. They'll buy the clothes, they'll get the beauty products, they'll get their hair done, their nails done. They're getting everything. Go get some liposuction, get my eyes plucked, get my retinas cut and lasered, whatever it is. And these external means are never going to bring you a feeling of contentment. It doesn't matter how long your eyelashes are, it's not going to make you more happy. It doesn't matter how plump your lips are, it will not change the amount of happiness you feel inside about yourself. What's going to shift that is when you can look into your own eyes and you can have a sense of deep honor and reverence, and you can deeply connect with the consciousness that is you, that is looking out at you and would like to be acknowledged. And that is really when things become very beautiful and aligned. And then we come into this place where, like in my own life, I put this quote, and I maybe I can find it on Facebook while I'm chatting with you guys if I can multitask, which is not my favorite thing to do. But it was really cool because Source was speaking through me during our workshop the other night for the Soul Sisters. And if I can find it, I want to read it to you because it was very simple, but it was so powerful and it was so truthful. Okay, I found it. So this is what came through me during our meditation when we were in deep listening. What flowed through in consciousness is, I am never in need nor want, for I am the great I am. And if you really can feel the truth of that, as we are in a state of alignment and we know I am the great I am everything, I am one with the universe. So whatever it is that is something I would love to experience, it's on its way in. Whatever it is that I am here to assist with, whatever soul mission I have come here to fulfill, I am just going to show up and allow it to happen. I don't have to make it happen. I don't have to go chase it down. I don't have to prove to people that I'm worthy, because that energy is exactly the North magnet. That is resistance energy. You're trying to prove yourself. You're trying to make it happen. You're trying to be enough. Resistance. It creates dis-ease. And over time, if that sense of dis-ease is held long enough in the vibrational vibrational misalignment of the body, the cells of the body actually will go at war with each other, like Anita experienced, and they will start to destroy each other. And that is the essence of cancer. We will never cure cancer from walking and saying, stop cancer. Cancer is something that's very much a spiritual experience for every soul. Every soul has things come to them to teach them. And like one of my clients recently, she stated so beautifully, she's like, Tanya, I had this problem in my stomach. And without that pain and without that problem, I maybe would never have sought the path that I'm on now, where I really went out and asked the universe to show me a deeper understanding of what could heal the body. So she started getting these people to come into her movie, like naturopathic doctors and acupuncturists, and myself as a yoga teacher and as a healer. And she started to see that there was this whole world of solution that could show up in different ways other than what modern science had told her, which was she had to chop her body open and lop a chunk of her body out. And something about that just seemed really wrong to her. And so she went out looking for a different solution and thanked the angels and the universe for showing her that solution. And so, what was beautiful about that to me was that she had such great awareness to realize that this so called problem was actually a gift. And, like, if you guys remember the show I did a while back called The Gift of Pain, I feel that pain comes in to teach us, whether it's the pain of a loss of love and broken heart, like a love we lose and leaves and goes on. Maybe someone we love moves on and leaves the body. Maybe we throw out our back and we can't do anything for a while, and it puts us right on our back so that we're in deep surrender and we're in a state of deep listening and meditation. And it's interesting how some of us, if we're in resistance to pain, which I feel our society is very much in a resistance of pain, we try to push the pain away. We want to numb it, distract it, put a band-aid on it, whatever it is, but get it away from me. And in truth, the gift is in it. If we lean into it, we inquire within, what is going on? How may I serve you? Back, what is happening inside of you? How can I help you feel better? We answer the call. Then that back pain is going to shift because we're going to have awareness of what's going on. If we ask a question, our soul putting out a question to the universe, a deep, honest opening to understanding, the universe will bring back a deep, wise truth. And I promise, as each of you start to put out the questions and then listen, practice deep listening, this is where our society would benefit so much from a shift from busyness to stillness. Sometimes it's just so much more powerful to just be quiet and not be chattering and not be spinning in our story, but just lay down and close your eyes and feel the energy of aliveness in your fingertips. Feel your breath every day. Give honor for it. Like, this is a gift that you are breathing. It is not a given. It is not something that you have been entitled to because of your status or any other thing in life. It is truly a gift. And if each of us tap into that gift and we listen and we allow consciousness to move through us, we will create beautiful lives. And maybe we touch 3 or 4 people deeply in our lifetime. Perfect. Be content with that. Be content with whatever it is that your soul's here to do. Just show up. You don't need to be known by everyone. You don't need everyone to approve of you. You don't need to have, 20 books written and on the New York top seller best list to be worthy. If that happens, awesome. And go ahead and visualize that and put energy out there to dream and to expand yourself. But if the drive for that is coming from fearful ego of who am I without that status? Who am I unless I achieve this and then achieve that? And I've worked with some really amazing people who have achieved a lot, who, when it comes all down to it at the end, when we sit and talk intimately together, they realize what a game it was and that all of it was not really what mattered to them. And some of them destroyed some of the most beautiful relationships in their lives because of their drive of their ego. And so I feel like if we can just balance that more and we can remember we're light, we're infinite, eternal beings that will never stop. If we relaxed, imagine how we'd connect more. If I actually trusted that there is plenty of time, that I am beautiful and useful enough, that I am intelligent enough as I am, that I am capable and confident in whatever needs to come through me, I can handle it. I just relax. There's a sense of sigh, of ease. And in that ease is exactly where the magic happens. That is when everything flows in so much more simply in your life. Things just come together, synchronicity starts to really flow. And you touch lives in such a deeper way with that presence than you ever could by just racing through trying to achieve something from hungry ego. So, something to think about. I will take a pause and see if anybody's writing in or anybody wants to call in. Here's your moment.
Nobody,
Anything coming in, Amnon?
nobody's writing in, but I have a question.
Okay.
So you're talking about ask the universe.
Mm-hmm.
I always compare it to something when something like this. I'm comparing it to computers or to demand. So right
Yes,
now, there's not that many people that follow this advice.
indeed.
What
Great
happens
awareness.
now? What happens if every person on Earth followed it? Would the universe have enough resources to actually pay attention to each person? Do you think?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay.
Because if there's the consciousness in each of us here with presence, if we have that presence, then each of us are going to have different desires,
Right.
right? So we're all going to have different desires that we put out to the universe, and the universe is infinite. And so as we tap into that infinite potential and power, when we each get that awareness, where we each arrive with that awareness, then we each self realize. And as we self realize, we will move with greater harmony and balance on a planet or wherever we are in the universe than we ever would have without that. And so when we move from a place of awareness and consciousness, we move with greater reverence to the whole. So if I'm moving from a state of awareness in my movie and there's 50 people who aren't, there might be 50 people over consuming, overtaking,
Mm-hmm.
over talking, over, crowding. But that one being of awareness is raising the vibration, honoring, showing up, holding space, giving more. And so, if each of us were in that kind of alignment, what would happen is a profound shift would change on this planet. And every human would move with greater awareness and reverence for each other. Kind of like, have you ever seen kind of ants when they move in a colony and they're just moving and they kind of have this orchestration and they pass each other? And
Mm-hmm.
it looks, from a distance like kind of chaos. There's just ants everywhere. But when you watch them closely, they're really pretty honoring to each other and they will move. And if one drops something, the other just comes right behind and picks it up. And they create amazing colonies because of that organization. And in Japan, they have like in Japan, I don't know if you've ever been there, but I've seen
No.
seen films in Japan, and I've heard people that have visited there, and they say it's very much like that in the energy of Japan. There's more of a, and not in every way, but in a lot of ways, there's more honor for consciousness and awareness. And so the humans will move like that on the streets and they're just like flowing, but they just have like an intuitive connection to the other humans near them, kind of like the ants do. Like they're all sensing each other and they're all honoring each other in that space and that flow. And so I feel like as we moved into that consciousness as a planet of humans and we all chose that, we would have an amazing shift happen. And we would move with greater harmony and reverence. And it wouldn't be like, I honestly think the overconsumption that's happening, because I think some of the concern people have for, would there be enough resources, is the truth is, I think there would be more than enough because we would all be cooperating in that system and we would be assisting in it rather than what it is where some do very little work and very little effort, but they overtake from fear. So when we're in fear, we need to greedily hoard all the resources or hoard all the money or hoard all the food. And if we're coming from a place of consciousness that understands that whatever I need is on its way, we don't need to hoard anything. We don't need to cling or attach to anything or anybody. We can love each other and we can, love our house and the things we have. But if something shifts and that's taken, we don't identify with it as a sense of self. So that house is not me. It was a shelter for me. And if it's taken, I trust the universe has another plan for me. And then we create from that experience. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. How about you? What do you feel about that? Do you kind of have that same feeling or
I, I
what do you
I
feel?
mean, I would like to see everybody in this kind of alignment and in that kind of way
Me
of
too.
way of thinking, but I
Mhm.
think it's wishful thinking.
Well, and the wishful thinking is the most powerful thing you can use because when we're in a space of imagination, truly in the laws of attraction, your imagination is your most powerful tool. And so how you use your imagination is amazingly powerful opportunity. So if we're using our imagination in fearful ways, like, oh, the world's going to end and it's all going to hell and end of times and the religion talked about this, we're using our imagination, but we're creating a dark experience from fear.
Hmm.
If we go into imagination, wishful thinking in a different vibration of, I can imagine a time and a place where all humans honor each other, where they actually care about the need of the one near them, where they actually treat each other with honor, where they actually care about animals and they don't harm them, where we move with greater honor and reverence for the planet and we don't overtake from the resources. We actually make sure if we take that we can give back equally so that everything maintains balance. If we visualize that in our imagination, and maybe it's just me, you, and 50 other people doing it, it's still powerful. And if enough of us are doing it, and then like this internet show, I find this to be such a gift and a jewel for humanity. And maybe there's 10 people listening today, or maybe there's 1,000. It isn't really that important. What it is important to know that we're speaking the messages and that those who are ready to hear will hear, and that we just want to keep sharing the messages until enough people shift that we start tipping the scales in the favor of honoring the planet and honoring the bigger vision that we're holding. And really, it's not about a rush or trying to make it happen. It's really a slow, steady building of energy and vibration where we're holding that vibration of alignment. Like I was doing for a month before my wedding, I was just visualizing a sunny day, not in fear or stress or worry, just completely like holding that space and, oh, it's going to feel so nice to walk on. It's going to be beautiful and we're going to take our pictures. And I asked others, hey, if you get a time and you're in meditation, would you hold space with us? Could you visualize this with me? When like the other day I'll have dreams a lot of times being so like Yoda, I'm connected to the universe and I feel disturbances in the force, and oftentimes I'll have dreams where it's like disaster dreams or some kind of natural disaster is happening in my dreams, and I wake up and I just call forth the elements. I send love and light to wherever the place is. If I was given notice of where it is or I have an intuition, I thank the angels and the universe for supporting whatever's shifting there and to protect as many lives as possible. But then I also understand the energy of cleansing and clearing, and that sometimes the planet has to clear energy. Sometimes the planet has to shake things off that are disrupting the vibration. Just like if we feel someone was overtaking from us, we may become more aggressive in our approach to get those in-laws out of our house or those kids that are living here with our friends because they're over consuming our goods and they're over consuming the energy and they're destroying the environment. And so that's something we could relate to on a small scale in our family, but that happens on the planet. The planet can feel like there's energies overtaking from the earth, and the earth will react with a actual reaction internally and shake that energy off, if you will. And so like the other night I had a dream of this and I sent all that intention. I was calling in love and light, and I just had a feeling there was going to be like an earthquake, and I just called in support and thanked the angels. I went on Facebook and just said, if you guys feel led, join me in meditation. Let's hold space. Whatever's going on, I can feel the earth churning, and let's just send her healing and send light. And then the next day, Nepal had an earthquake. And so it doesn't mean that we failed at what we did, but I feel we were assisting. And who knows if the people that were tuning in and sending love and light and support wouldn't have done any of that, maybe 10,000 people would have died, or maybe it would be even worse than it was. And so it's not really judging things good or bad, it's just showing love whenever we can and holding a space of the highest alignment always coming in. Does that make sense?
Nah, that makes sense. It's a fact.
There you go. But that's what happened, and that literally was an experience that I just had. And so, we can go into fear and we can worry about the world ending, and we have a lot of signs the earth is giving us that she is tired and over being overtaken from. And just like a mother, like if you've been around a mom that feels like she's being overtaken from and she's not being appreciated,
Mm-hmm.
that mom can lose her shit. You know what I mean? I've been around some really sweet moms, and I'm a mom myself. And if I've been one of those moms when I feel like too many people have been taking from me and my energy, my time, my space, suddenly I'm just like, ah. And so if we think of that, how we are, the earth is very much a living being as well. And the earth is that energy as well. And if she feels kind of like an avatar, if Awa feels that you're overtaking or you're not showing honor, she's powerful and she has an ability to shake us off. And so I feel like it would be really wise for the humans to wake up. And I feel that's why I'm so driven with the messages, not to scare people into thinking they have nothing they can do about it, but to help them remember they have everything to do about it. That it's all about our alignment, it's all about our consciousness and our desire to offer love and healing, or to come from ego and over consume and overtake. And that's something that we need to wake up to. I feel it's becoming quite important.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. And so I'm going to actually read a page from Getting into the Vortex that I opened up to for today. And I feel like it has a great point with it. And I've recommended this book so many times, but my healing clients, most of them have it. And even in my yoga trainings, they have it and they listen to the CD. And I think it's great because this book, it's not the book that's the power, it's the consciousness. And the consciousness that came through this woman who channels Abram, and she teaches the laws of alignment and spiritual alignment. It's really important stuff. And if we start to practice with this, if we get this book and put in the CD and listen to one of the sections, they're 15 minutes long, and we listen every day for 15 minutes, and we just come into a space of, I'm just in this space to release resistance, just for the goodness of that alignment, just for the goodness of feeling at ease. As we can honor that, we will start to shift a lot of things in our life, because it's not about doing it to achieve spiritual enlightenment, so then we'll be worthy. It's not about doing it so that we can just drive a Porsche 911 and then people will think we're awesome. It's not about becoming the most amazing author of all time so everyone knows our name. These are things we can use laws of attraction for, and they will work. But what's deeper in this practice is really about alignment, and it's really about conscious creation. And when we create consciously, what we create should benefit the whole. Our creation should not harm or hurt anyone. Our creation should actually uplift the whole. And so I feel like that's the deepest essence of this teaching, is to help each human become more conscious and more conscious of their consciousness. And that's really the power. Your true power is your consciousness. And when you can get out of the way, like when I'm doing the show, I don't even know what I'm going to say ever until I'm on the show. And that is an example that I'm mirroring to you each week, of someone that is not dictating what's going to happen. I'm not making something happen. I don't have PowerPoint presentation. I don't have like notebooks that I'm going by really rigidly, because I'm just showing up and letting the consciousness speak through. And whatever is needed to be heard by the ones listening today is exactly what's going to come out. And whoever's tuning in today, or maybe they're going to find this video in 100 years, maybe I won't even be on the planet anymore, and someone will find this and it will still be helping people and still be affecting the consciousness. And that's really the power, is that consciousness. So I'm going to read a page here before we sign off today, because it is 6 o'clock, 6:02. From your place of alignment, beneficial behavior will be inspired, and wonderful things will unfold with great ease. The more ease you feel, the less resistance you hold, and the more the cells of your body can find their balance. When you are not in vibrational alignment with your source, you are still able to use your willpower to motivate yourself into action, but there is nothing very pleasant about that kind of behavior. And in the larger scheme of things, it is also relatively unproductive. So let's think of someone wanting to like lose weight, and they're like they want to lose weight, they want to be thinner, they want to be healthier, they want to feel good in their body and feel energized. But if their focus is on like willpower, momentum, and they have to starve themselves and then they have to go run 5 miles and they hate running, they can get away with that maybe for 3, 4 weeks and they'll make themselves do it. Or maybe they even do it for years. They make themselves exercise, 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 starve, starve, starve. A soul can be put through that so long and it doesn't really bring joy and it cannot be maintained long term. There will come a day where there will be a consequence to that activity, whether it be the body breaks down or the spirit breaks down, emotional crisis happens, but it cannot be maintained. So if we think of it that way, in a state of releasing body fat and finding greater ease and joy and vibrational alignment, feeling energized, the swifter the swifter path to that alignment would be in meditation, releasing resistance to your own body, not having hateful thoughts towards your body, not, going in fear and over consuming a bag of Oreos because you're feeling emotional or depressed, but dealing with those emotions and going into a place with meditation where you release the resistance, you release the fear, and you love the body. You find a place of ease and great acceptance. That is the swiftest path to a vibrational alignment with anything you want. And it can be maintained. All it is its complete essence is about maintaining it, which is just tuning in with that consciousness and releasing the dis-ease. And as we do that, we will heal sickness on this planet. As we do that, we will heal the feelings and problems of not being enough of anything, because in truth, there's plenty, but that fearful part is what causes us to think there's not, and so we overconsume. So a lot of people that have issues where they overeat often have had history where they actually starved or went without, or were raised by parents who went without. And so we pass this energy on like a baton, and there's this passing on of lack and that there's not enough, and that actually leads us to overconsume. So that's a big cellular memory that would benefit to be cleared. So that's just a little example of that. It is our knowing that once you discover the leverage of energy that the vortex provides and the ease and flow of aligning with this energy that creates worlds, you will never want to return to the struggle or hard work of being out of your vortex again. Indeed, I can promise you from someone who's done this, you'll never want to go there again. And if you dabble in it again, you'll quickly realize how shitty that is. And you'll say, okay, let me go back into surrender, because making that happen is not working out. There is a big difference between allowing the natural well-being and trying to make it happen. As you settle into the rhythm of consistent alignment with the energy of your source, you will feel physically energized and enthusiastic about life. You will find yourself wanting to be more active, not because you need to in order to accomplish something, but because you want to. So now you want to go for a walk because you love your body, you love life, you want to be outside. Not, oh, I got to go for a walk. you know. Any former feelings of overwhelmment and struggle will be replaced with new feelings of eagerness and passion. And rather than wanting to retreat and rest, you will want to get out into the world and discover. Day by day, as your resistance lifts, you will uncover the passion for life that you were born with. And at the same time that your spirits are lifting and your physical stamina is improving, the cells of your body will be thriving as well, because the cells of your body are responding to that ease and to that joy. Your new good feeling attitude is not only an indication of the improvement in your physical body, it is the very reason for it. So I'm going to read that sentence again and really listen to that. Your new good feeling attitude is not only an indication of the improvement in your physical body, it is the very reason for it. The happier you feel, the less hindrance you are to your cellular body. Most people have it backward. They want to feel good in their body so that they can be happy. So think of someone struggling with their weight and they want to, they want to feel good about their body so that then they can be happy to be in their body. And that's backwards. What you want to do, it says the secret to be to the secret is to be happy first, to choose joy, to choose happiness, no matter the condition of your body, and then physical well-being must follow. So as we choose a state of alignment and we focus on the love for our body, we focus on the wholeness, we see and visualize our bodies healthy and vibrant, and we hold that space for our bodies and we hold that vision, we start to imagine it into being, and that vibration of love and light starts to heal the very cells of your body. It'll invigorate you, it'll inspire you, and you'll now have more energy and passion to go and do things that will actually assist you with that goal. So hopefully that made sense to everybody. But I encourage you to get that book. And any of you that live in my area, or even those that are remote, if any of you want to work with me as a healer, in May, I'm actually offering a painting with spirit class on May 2nd. And that's, of course, got to be live because, well, I guess you could actually join us remotely if you had your computer and just have your canvas and we could talk through. That would be possible. I have a past life regression workshop from 5 to 7:30 on Saturday, May 9th. And that is something that you guys could do through Skype. And anything that I offer, if you're interested, I've had people that watch the show that have actually contacted me and said, Tawnya, could I just work with you, one-on-one about that workshop, but could you tell me and catch me up on what's happening in that? And I can. So if you want to do that, just contact me and we can talk, like the pricing and everything. I pretty much treat that like a soul coaching session. So if you go to the website under TanyaAngel555.com, you can see the soul coaching, and we could do a package deal or something if you want to do several sessions. So, think about that and really thank the universe for bringing you the money, the resources, the time, and trust that when you're ready and the teacher comes in, you want to say yes and you want to thank the universe for supplying everything you need for that rather than saying there's not enough. Oh, I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have something. This is the old story that we have to clear if we want to improve ourselves. So I encourage you to go into meditation and thank the universe for bringing you the teachers. All the students that I teach that mentor with me, they tell me how these magical stories of how they were praying for the aligned teacher. They were praying for the one that they could really relate to and that could help them heal and improve their lives. And then they synchronistically met me. And then the money came in and everything just magically came into place. And that's because they were focusing on alignment and they were calling it in. And then they said yes when it came. So something to think about. The other thing I'm offering is the Empowering the Empath mentorship. I do have a few remote clients that are already joining me, and if any of you want to do that, you can. So contact me. That's the third Saturday of every month for the next 6 months, and it is from 4 to 7 p.m. So you can contact me for more information on that. And then the Sacred Soul Sister Circles is always the last Saturday. And I'm planning, I'm not even going to say planning. I am opening and surrendering my gifts and my time and my wisdom to the universe for leading healing retreats and mentorships and seminars. And so if any of you are interested in that, you have connections, you would like it to be in your city, you can, you want to even help organize such a thing, contact me and let me know, because I know there will be many beautiful souls involved in these dreams that I'm putting out there, and we'll co-create some magic together. So I just want to thank all of you for tuning in. It's 611 right now. Nice. And thank you guys for taking the time to, be more conscious and taking the time to love each other and really care about each other and care about yourself. And I encourage you this week, until we see each other next Sunday at 5, go and look in your mirror every day and not just quickly, looking at what's wrong, but start to really look deeply into the eyes of your soul and tell yourself how much you love yourself, how much better you're getting every day, how much you're improving, and be your own best friend. Like, look into that mirror and let yourself be the beloved that you've been looking for, and just watch what will shift in your life. So thank you all so much for joining us, and thank you, Amnon, for all of your support and love and light that you offer behind the scenes. I really appreciate that. And I hope you guys have a beautiful, blessed day. Namaste.
tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCBBI members, The Tawnya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.